My peoples. First of all, let me start off with a little happy Friday for everybody. We headed towards the weekend. Gonna get some good boxing. Um, and of course, we gotta kick this off with the magic question. Is Tank Davis ever going to fight Shakur Stevenson? You know, that's a fight that we want to see. We gotta see it. We have to have it. But for whatever reason, it hasn't happened, and we just don't know if it's ever gonna happen. Y'all already know what this is, man. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center, your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. Let's talk about it, my peoples. Um, that's a fight that I've personally been asking for maybe like 2, 3 years already. There's been times where I thought this fight was just about to happen. Like, for example, when there was a time, if you guys remember, when Tank Davis was supposedly in negotiations with Lomachenko. And that fell through because Lomachenko decided that he wanted to take a break. Now, at that moment, when Lomachenko pulled out of negotiations, I still remember Tank didn't have an opponent and Shakur didn't have an opponent at that time. So I felt like, here we go. It's going to happen. I still remember, I think it was in an interview where they asked Tank Davis about Shakur, and he was like, he's going down to, or he's going to get an offer or something along those lines. And Shakur was saying, send the contract. I'm going to sign it. An offer was never sent. An attempt to make that fight was never made. So, that was the most recent time where I felt like, okay, Tank and Shakur are probably going to happen because neither one of them have an opponent. They're going back and forth on social media, but nah, it never happened. Shakur ended up, going in a whole different direction. That's where he was going to fight Floyd Schofield. And that fight fell through. He ended up fighting Josh Padley. But then after that, I've seen, a reporter ask Tank Davis about Shakur Stevenson, and Tank got mad. Like, oh, what's he done? Why I got to fight him? He got defensive. Which to me, that wasn't a good look because it felt like he just doesn't want to fight Shakur. That's how it felt at that moment. The way that he got defensive when asked about that fight. So he kind of went from saying, he's on the mysterious list that Tank has of all these people that he wants to fight. But when the opportunity was there, when they both didn't have an opponent, the timing was perfect. He didn't do it. Didn't send a contract offer. Didn't show any interest in wanting to fight Shakur. So, that's why I keep asking myself: is Tank Davis ever gonna fight Shakur Stevenson? Yo, by the way, good morning. Shout out to everybody who came up in here. But yeah, man, I don't know if Tank is ever gonna fight Shakur. I don't know. Does he need convincing? Does he need a crazy payday to get him to fight Shakur? I don't know, but that's a fight, that boxing fans have been asking for some time already. And it's like these are the two guys at the top. These are the two best. But and and the crazy thing about it is that we see Shakur expressing interest in that fight. Shakur wants to fight Tank Davis, and he makes it clear every time somebody asks him about it. If you ask Shakur, yo, as a matter of fact, if you ask him who's at the top of the list of people you want to fight, I promise you the name he's going to bring up first is Tank Davis. That's who you want to fight. But if Tank doesn't want to fight him, how does he get him in the ring? And that's the thing about boxing fans, my peoples. And I always say this: look, if you feel like a guy doesn't have the resume that for you makes him a great fighter, then ask yourself this question: who are the people that you would like to see in his resume? That's one. And two, do those people want to fight him? Because if at any point you decide to question Teofimo Lopez's resume, then you gotta ask, okay, who do you want to see him fight? Does that person want to fight him? El Fantasma de Geraldo Leden. Good morning, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. Bam. Bendiciones y feliz viernes. So you gotta ask yourself that question. Who wants to fight him? Because Shakur Stevenson, he has a very good resume. You only a hater would knock his resume. You got to be like a big time Shakur Stevenson hater. Shakur Stevenson has beaten multiple world champions, has been a champion in 3 divisions, has been a unified champion, and he's only 27 years old. He's only 27. So his resume is solid. But when you say, oh, he didn't fight nobody, or he didn't fight this person, he didn't fight that person, you got to ask yourself, do these people want to fight Shakur? Most of the best fighters, big name fighters, are on video saying that they don't want to fight Shakur. Teofimo has said he don't want to fight Shakur. Ryan Garcia has said he don't want to fight Shakur. Devin Haney blatantly ducked him, ran from the whole division just to avoid fighting Shakur. So Tank Davis been ducking him already, in my opinion, for a couple of years. So how do you say to somebody, oh, you didn't beat this guy, you didn't beat that guy, when none of those people want to fight him? People simply do not want to fight Shakur, my people. That's why I've been saying he's the boogeyman. He's the boogeyman in boxing. Somebody told me the other day, nah, he not the boogeyman because he not knocking people out. He not knocking everybody out. And I clarified, my brother, boogeyman doesn't mean that you knocking people out. Boogeyman mean people scared of fighting you. They don't want to get in the ring with you. That's a boogeyman. And people don't want to fight Shakur, my peoples. They don't want it. It's not about getting knocked out and getting beat up. It's about they don't want to take that L. They don't want to lose to him. They don't want to be made to look bad. They don't want to lose and, for Shakur to make it look easy. That makes you look bad. So, yes, Shakur Stevenson, without a shred of doubt, is the boogeyman, my people. I'm just giving y'all the reals. Giving you the real. Now, Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson, that's one of the biggest fights in boxing. That's a huge fight. That's a mega fight. But we already know Tank Davis is going to fight Lamont Roach next. Which, that's a heck of a fight, by the way. Heck of a fight. But it's already out there that his plans are to fight Lamont Roach and at the end of the year, fight Jake Paul. If he's going to fight Jake Paul at the end of the year, then we already know that Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is not happening in 2025. Or at least those are my expectations, that we're not getting this fight. So last year, I still remember, when, like I said, when Lomachenko dropped out of the fight with Tank Davis, I felt like this is it right here. This is it right here. We finally gonna get Tank versus Shakur, because Tank is trying to get in the ring with Lomachenko, a high profile fighter, a big name. So once he is not able to get that fight, I felt like, okay, Tank is ready to get in there with the big boys. He's gonna try to get in there with Shakur. If that doesn't work out, it's gonna be Devin or Teofimo. He's going after the big dogs. And look what happened. He went from trying to fight Lomachenko to Lamont Roach, who I believe was a cherry pick gone wrong. You brought a guy from the 130-pound division to fight you at 135. Which, by the way, El Androide Garcia was also a 130-pounder who moved up to 135 to fight Tank Davis. And then when he was at 135, he moved down to 130 to fight Leo Santa Cruz. So it's like, come on, man. We want to see Tank fight Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Gary Antoine Russell, Jaron Boost Ennis. Fight the big dogs, bro. We tired of, the little guys moving up from a lower division to fight Tank. Or the guy who's never fought for a title in his life, he getting a title shot at Tank Davis. What's up, man? Come on, get Tank in there with the big boys. And I always try to remind people, yo, I'm not a Tank Davis hater. By the way, man, come on, it's 6 of us in here and only 3 likes. I should be able to get at least 3 more likes, my people. But by the way, to those who say that I'm a Tank Davis hater, I just got to point it out. What have I said that is hate towards Tank Davis? What have I really said? When I talk about Tank's skills, I tell people Tank is one of the hardest punchers in boxing, period. Not just at the 135 division. When we go pound for pound, Tank Davis is one of the hardest punchers in boxing. Tank Davis is an elite level fighter, elite level footwork, ring IQ, one of the best counter punchers in the game. Tank Davis can fight. He is a special fighter, one of the best of this generation. But being the best of the generation does not give you a free pass to cherry pick and fight, all of the guys that we know you can beat or that we expect you to beat. We want to see you get in the ring with these guys who a lot of people feel like they have a chance to beat you too and see you come out on top. And look, at this point, Tank Davis and his team, they have stretched it way too long already. Yo, last year somebody was telling me, they developing Tank. I'm like, my brother, Tank Davis about to be 30 years old. The fuck you mean they developing him? What do you mean they developing him at 30 years old? So all I'm going to tell you is this, my people, so you can analyze it. And I want you to take this into consideration. Right now, Tank Davis is 30 years old. At 30 years old, think about the biggest names in his resume or the biggest wins in his resume. I had somebody the other day tell me that his biggest win is Pedraza, because Pedraza is the only reigning champion that Tank Davis beat in his own division. Tank Davis was at 130, Pedraza was at 130, a champion, and Tank Davis beat him. That's the only champion that he really beat. Like, people bring up all these champions in Tank Davis' resume. Mario Barrios had a secondary title. I'll remind you that Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion at the 140 division. Undisputed. We all know what that means. That was Josh Taylor when Tank Davis fought Mario Barrios for a secondary title. So Tank Davis is, I hate to tell you this, my peoples, but Tank Davis, 140-pound title, that's a Mickey Mouse belt. That thing doesn't even count. It's not a real title. 140 title, Tank Davis got is not a real belt. Not a real title. Hate to be the one to break it down for you. At 135, the title that he got, it was a vacant title that he got from damn near 40-year-old Gamboa. The title was vacant, and they matched him up with Gamboa. And he won. A vacant title. He didn't beat a world champion for that. So, at this point, with Tank Davis being 30 years old, I ask you, go back to Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Tito Trinidad, Sugar Shane Mosley, Manny Pacquiao, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. Go to all the great fighters that you can think of and look at their resume or their career at 30 years old. and see the people that they beat by the time they was 30. By the time they was that age, they had beaten multiple world champions in multiple divisions. Some had already beat future Hall of Famers. And Tank is 30 years old, and we still trying to get him to fight the big boys. He's still fighting the guys from the lower divisions, the guys who's never fought for a title. Like, bro, when does it happen? When do you start achieving greatness? Because greatness is not how good you look inside the ring. Greatness is tied to who you beat. And as of right now, Tank Davis doesn't have a single win in his resume that says greatness. Not one. Not one. Tunnel vision. Who are these pound for pound fighters Shakur has fought? Look, tunnel vision, I'm going to answer your question with a question. Right? You're asking who are the pound for pound fighters Shakur Stevenson has fought. So you tell me, my brother, who are the pound for pound fighters that you see trying to get in the ring with Shakur? That's the magic question. Teofimo, Devin Haney, and Shakur Stevenson, they all want to fight Tank Davis. They all made that clear. But Tank Davis don't want to fight nobody. So you're asking about the pound for pound fighters that Shakur fought. You tell me who are the pound for pound fighters that want to fight Shakur. Because we got to understand, my brother, you can only fight the people who's down to fight you. You can only fight the people who's willing to fight you. It should tell you a lot, though, that the same people who want to fight Tank Davis, who's making it clear that they want to fight Tank Davis, they don't want to fight Shakur. They don't want it. Teofimo Lopez has said a million times he want to fight Tank. And he be saying, I want to fight him, but he don't want to fight me. They don't want to fight me. They know what's up. Devin Haney has said it over and over, I want to fight Tank Davis. And it says he don't want to fight me. So I'm showing you, Tank Davis could fight pound for pound type fighters right now if he wanted to. He doesn't want to. But look what you do. You question about Shakur and you don't question about Tank, my brother. Look, Tank brought Lamont Roach from the 130 division to fight him for a title. Like he did Androide Garcia, who he also brought up from the 130 division to fight him. And next, he's already being, rumored to be fighting Jake Paul next. Jake Paul, brother. You asking about what pound for pound fighter Shakur Stevenson fought when Tank Davis is going to be fighting Jake Paul at the end of the year. That's crazy work. Tunnel vision. So when is Shakur we got excused? They say they want to fight Tank until they get contacted. Then things go on their terms. My brother, but now you making stuff up out of thin air. Who's been contacted to fight Tank? Did Tank contact Devin Haney? Did he contact Teofimo Lopez? Did he contact Shakur? Don't make stuff up out of thin air, my brother. Tank has never contacted any of the big boys to fight him. Don't make stuff up out of thin air to try to defend Tank, bro. Come on now. I'm asking you, who do you see trying to fight Shakur? Who's trying to fight him? Who? Tell me one person. I could look up the video. I got my other phone right here. Tell me one person, one of the big dogs who has said, I want to fight Shakur. You tell me. He can't fight the people who don't want to fight him. Tunnel vision. Yeah, Roach moved up and was still bigger than him. Per Shakur, they got contacted. Lomachenko walked away from negotiations. Keyshawn team also admitted they got contacted. Yo, Keyshawn team admitted they got contacted about a fight with Tank. You made that stuff up out of thin air, my brother. You talking to the human algorithm. I'm literally tapped in. That never happened. Don't make stuff up out of thin air. Tank Davis versus Lomachenko, they were in negotiations. Lomachenko decided that he wanted to take a break. That's true. That's true. Lomachenko is the only one. Now, tunnel vision, let me just remind you that Lomachenko been trying to fight Tank Davis since like 5-6 years ago. Now that he's washed up, now that he's 37 years old, now that he's been inactive, now they want to fight him. They literally wanted to age Lomachenko out. Now they want to fight him. I also remind you that Floyd Mayweather is actually on video saying, nah, we don't want to fight Lomachenko. He's in a hurry. He's old. That's why he's in a hurry to fight. We're not in a hurry to fight. 5-6 years later, now they want to fight Lomachenko. Come on now. Come on, bro. Stop. Tunnel vision. No, I did not. He admitted that on ESPN interview. I'm sure the chat has heard it. Nah, brother. Tank Davis never sent an offer to Keyshawn Davis. Ever. I don't know where you getting that from. I don't know who told you that, who lied to you. They never sent an offer to Keyshawn Davis ever. That would have been on every single ESPN platform. That would have been not only every ESPN platform, every boxing channel would have been talking about Tank Davis sending Keyshawn an offer. That's a lie, brother. Don't lie to defend Tank. Washed up. He looked washed up versus Camboza. He looked washed versus Devin. When he looked washed. Yo, but I didn't say he was washed, my brother. You see how you getting defensive because you know what's going on. Look how you getting defensive. Look how I didn't say he was washed. I said he was 37 years old. That's the truth. They didn't want to fight the version of Lomachenko that was beating everybody up. Now the version of Lomachenko that is 37 years old, that has been inactive from boxing, that's the one that they want to fight. How interesting that is. How interesting that is. They want to fight 37-year-old Lomachenko. They didn't want to fight 31, 32-year-old Lomachenko who was blowing through everybody. Now they want to fight 37-year-old Lomachenko. You make sense of that. Why they didn't want to fight him 5-6 years ago, but they want to fight him now. Tunnel vision. Keyshawn was contacted about negotiating a fight. Oh my God, bro. Look how you downgraded that. First, Keyshawn was offered the fight. Now he was contacted about negotiating a fight. Bro, that doesn't even make no sense. Bro, that doesn't even make no sense. You see, as a Tank Davis fan, you take stuff and not only you make stuff up out of thin air, but you take situations and you turn them into what you want them to be. Keyshawn Davis was never contacted about a fight with Tank Davis. Ever. That never happened. Tank Davis never tried to fight Keyshawn. Ever. Ever. What they said on ESPN is that Keyshawn Davis is worthy of a fight with Tank Davis. They say he was worthy, but that they contacted him about a fight, that he turned down a fight, that never happened, man. Stop it. Stop it. Stop the lies. You don't have to lie to defend Tank Davis, bro. He's not. Yo, this guy is going to fight Lamont Roach, and right after that, he's going to fight Jake Paul. What are you talking about, Keyshawn Davis, bro? What are you talking about? What? Like, even Jake Paul himself said, when he was going to fight Lamont Roach, we was already talking about fighting each other. He's not fighting Jake Paul next because Lamont Roach beat the shit out of him, and now he got to give him a rematch. But Jake Paul versus Tank Davis is the fight that was going to happen. So you're talking about Tank Davis sending all these people contracts, and he's going to fight Jake Paul next. Come on, Tunnel Vision. I would love to see you defending Tank Davis versus Jake Paul, because I'm sure you're going to find a way to say that's a good fight for Tank Davis to make. This man is fighting Jake Paul next, man, and you talking about all this other stuff that you made up out of thin air, my brother. Come on now. Come on now. How is Tank Davis going to fight a cherry pick gone wrong in Lamont Roach, because that's what he really is, a cherry pick gone wrong? Brought him up from the 130 division, thinking that he was going to knock him out at 135. And look, Lamont Roach beat the shit out of him. So now, there's a rematch with Lamont Roach and then Jake Paul at the end of the year. Bro, Your guy, your favorite fighter, is going to fight Jake Paul. That tells you everything. He's not going to try to fight Shakur. He's not going to try to fight Keyshawn like you said just now. He's not going to try to fight Teofimo or Devin. He's going to fight Jake Paul, bro. Jake Paul. Come on now. Tunnel vision. Shakur could have fought Gary Russell at 126. Could have fought Devin for undisputed at 135. You see, now you cap tunnel vision. I'm going to show you how you cap. Number one, you're bringing up that he could have fought Gary Russell at 126. That's crazy work. Like, how many years ago Shakur was at 126? That's horrible. And then what you just said about Devin Haney, that's even worse. Everybody knows that Devin Haney ducked Shakur Stevenson. You're talking about that fake 25% offer, but you're skipping the fact that Shakur enforced his mandatory, and days before the purse bid, Devin Haney vacated his titles and ran from the whole division. How Shakur was going to fight a guy that ran from the whole division, bro? Stop. Stop doing that to yourself, my guy. Come on now. Come on, stop doing it. Stop trying to find ways to make it an angle, a negative angle about somebody else. Could have fought Gary Russell. Like Gary Russell was trying to fight Shakur at 126. Like Shakur didn't stay at 126 for a long time. Come on now. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's horrible. You're like, he was a champion at 126. Bro, Shakur was a champion at 126 for a very short time and moved up to 130. What are you talking about? You never saw a video of Gary Russell calling him out trying to make that fight either. Stop. And then look, you're saying he could have taken the 25%. That's the thing about Tank Davis fans, my brother, that y'all become fanagers. You're like a fanager that you want to say what type of offer a fighter could have took or should have took. Now you want to be a fanager. It's only Tank Davis fans and PBC fans who want to be fanagers. Instead of saying he could have took the 25%, why are you not saying Devin Haney could have went to purse bid and fought him? Why are you not saying that? Devin Haney could have went to the purse bid. And let me give you a little bit of education, tunnel vision. In case you didn't know, when you go to purse bid, the champion gets between 70 and 85%. That means that if Devin Haney would have went to purse bid, he would have got right around that 25% anyways for Shakur. He would have made right around the same money. Yet he chose not to wait for the purse bid and run from the whole division. But instead of telling the whole story, be truthful, my brother. Let's be truthful. What do? You cling on to the 25% and you become a fanager. Like, nah, he should have took the 25%. Let me be a fanager and not tell the whole story of what really happened with Devin running from the whole division and dropping his titles. Let's not tell the whole story, right? Let's be dishonest and cling on to that 25%, not tell the whole story, and talk about what he should have did. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. Tunnel vision. You keep making whatever excuse for Shakur. Bro, how is saying Shakur was the mandatory an excuse? That is a fact, my brother. You see the difference between you pressing your own narrative and me just talking about the facts? It's a fact that Shakur Stevenson was Devin Haney's mandatory. He did not have to take the 25% offer. He enforced his mandatory. And the sanctioning body said, Devin Haney, you got to fight Shakur. If you can't come to an agreement, this fight is going to a purse bid. Well, guess what? It was 3 to 4 days before the purse bid when Devin Haney said, oh, I'm leaving the division. I'm dropping the titles. I'm getting out of here. That's called a duck, brother. No matter how much you want to paint it, it's called a duck. That's false. Depending on your status, you can get much sharing more as a challenger. Shakur versus Herring. Bro, I don't even know what you're talking about. Number one, Shakur versus Herring was not a mandatory fight. That was a contracted fight. That's number one. So if it's contracted, we do negotiations. It has nothing to do with purse bid. Shakur versus Herring did not go to purse bid. So don't lie. Don't make stuff up out of thin air. Like I told you, I'm the human algorithm. I'm on to this stuff. Don't bring up a fight where they negotiated and try to compare it to a purse bid. Don't do that to yourself, my brother. And number two, you need to Google purse bid to understand. That is not false. Every single time the champion is going to get between 70 and 85%. Shakur may have even gotten less than the 25% because the purse bid could have ended up 80-20 for Devin Haney. So at the end of the day, Devin Haney did not wait for the purse bid. Why you not wondering why he didn't wait for the purse bid, Tunnel Vision? Why you not wondering why Devin Haney dropped the titles 3 days before the purse bid? Come on now. Brother, Tunnel Vision. Shakur versus Herring did not go to purse bid. What are you not understanding about that, my brother? What are you not understanding that? Do you not understand the difference between mandatory and purse bid? Because I can explain it to you if you don't understand it, my brother. Mandatory means that that's the fighter that you got to fight or you got to drop the title. Great. When somebody's your mandatory, y'all negotiate and y'all make the fight happen. But if y'all cannot come to an agreement, that's when it goes to purse bid. Learn the difference, my brother, between mandatory and purse bid. That's two different things. Shakur Stevenson was a mandatory for Herring. They negotiated and came up with the purse that they wanted to make. But if you're a mandatory and you cannot come to an agreement, that's when it goes to purse bid. And the purse bid always goes in favor of the champion heavily. Heavily. It doesn't have to go to purse bid for you to request a higher percentage by the sanctioning body. He petitioned for a higher percentage and got it. You see, Tunnel Vision, that's why I tell you, my brother, you got to argue a little bit more with casual boxing fans who don't know shit about boxing. Number one, he did not get no higher percentage. You're lying about that. You're making stuff up out of thin air. That's why I tell you, when you want to hate on Shakur, you take the truth and then you make stuff up out of thin air. But you can't do that with me, my brother. Shakur did not get a higher anything. The purse bid was going to happen in 3-4 days. That's when they were going to find out how much money they were going to give him. Stop lying, my brother. Shakur Stevenson did not get anything from the purse bid. The purse bid never took place. Never took place. And by the way, let me also school you a little bit. The sanctioning bodies do not determine the purse bid. Oh my God. Who y'all getting this information from? Who told you this, brother? Who told you? The sanctioning body has a specific commission. They have a specific team that's going to do the purse bid. Google it. You're embarrassing yourself, my brother. Google it. The purse bid goes between 70 and 85% to the champion. Devin Haney was going to get around the same money he was asking for. But the magic question, Tunnel Vision, for you is, number one, you already got caught lying because you said that Shakur petitioned and got a higher percentage. That was a lie, my brother. You already got caught lying. But now that I caught you lying because Shakur never got a higher percentage from a purse bid that never took place, you got caught lying. But before you get caught lying again, bro, just Google how the purse bid works. Stop making stuff up out of thin air when you're talking to me, my brother. Marcus Evans, Shakur's the best. Shakur's the best. He's the most skilled boxer in boxing today. He should be number one pound-for-pound fighter in boxing, in my opinion. And the gate for Shakur is crazy. People just be hating. I mean, I think it is quite common to see, Tank Davis fans hating on Shakur or just PBC fans hating on Shakur for whatever reason. But I got to tell you, Shakur Stevenson is obviously one of the best fighters in boxing today, which is the reason why a lot of people don't want to fight him. A lot of people don't want to fight him. That's the reality. We see everybody calling everybody out. I want to fight this guy. I want to fight that guy. I want to fight. But when Shakur name come up, they don't got nothing to say. They don't want it. Joe's Gaming or 70-30. That's what I'm talking about, Joe's Gaming. Purse, when they go to purse bid, 70-30, 75-25, 80-20, 85-15. The purse bid is always heavily in favor of the champion. Every single time. Every single time. So I asked Tunnel Vision, why didn't Devin Haney wait for the purse bid to find out how much money they was going to give him? He don't want to answer that question. So according to Tunnel Vision, Shakur should have took the offer, but Devin Haney didn't have to wait for the purse split. Devin Haney could just run from the division, drop the belts, and he's not ducking because he made a 25% offer. Come on now. Come on now. Listen, that's the most easy move to see. That's called ducking, but looking like you're not ducking. Make a real lowball offer. As soon as they decline it, run from the division. Devin Haney, he didn't negotiate. He didn't go back and forth with Shakur. Straight up ran from the division. Come on now. That's my obvious to see it. Tunnel Vision, you don't know the rules for WBC's purse splits. Oh my God, man. Look. Tunnel Vision. You already been getting cooked. You already been getting cooked, my brother. Watch this. I'm going to school you real quick. Joe's Gaming. Marcus Usyk is pound for pound number one. He fight guys much higher percentage weight and height on him. Joe's Gaming. Purse bid should favor the champion. Yeah, I mean, the purse bid always favors the champion heavily. In most cases, the purse bid is between 75-25 and even 80-20 in favor of the champion. The purse bid always favors the champion. Tunnel Vision just got on here and said, nah, Shakur petitioned for more money and they gave it to him. Like, that was literally a lie that he made up on the spot right now talking to us. Who makes stuff up out of thin air, bro? Marcus Evans. Joe's Usyk is a good fighter, but Shakur's more skilled than him, and Shakur is the most ducked fighter in boxing. Tank don't even want to fight him. Joe's Gaming. Same thing with Kyle Bell versus Bacoli. Kyle Bell pulled out, then blamed Bacoli. Joe's Gaming. Marcus, that's fair. We all see things differently. Deborah Hudson. Bad humbug. Nobody wants to fight because nobody wants to watch it. First time Shakur gets cracked, he'll fall like laundry. He's afraid of punchers. Stop with the cap. He moved up to avoid Tank. What are you talking about, Deborah? Him and Tank are both at the same division. What are you talking about? Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis both fight at 135. How is he moved up to avoid Tank when they're in the same weight class? You're going to have to figure that out, Deborah. We're going to have to get you sorted up with boxing. Joe's Gaming. If you beat the champ, you get the favorability yourself. David Shotwell. What's up, bro? What's up, David? Shout out to Oklahoma City. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. So listen. Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson I would say that's the biggest fight in boxing. Well, the biggest fight in boxing to me is Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford. We already know that fight is going down in September. But after that, Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson is the biggest fight in boxing, in my opinion. And we see Shakur trying to make that fight happen. David Shotwell, yes, sir. And Tank will give him all the smoke. Okay, my brother, you're saying Tank will give him all that smoke, but where is he? Tank Davis fought a cherry pick gone wrong, and Lamont Roach brought him from the 130 division to fight him at 135. There's going to be a rematch for that fight. And then Tank's team, or there's rumors going around that Tank is going to fight Jake Paul next. So this year, he's already not going to fight Shakur or none of the other big dogs. It's Jake Paul. What is Tank Davis doing fighting Jake Paul? So while people say, nah, Shakur should fight this guy or should fight that guy, Tank Davis going to be fighting Jake Paul. What y'all saying about that? Joe's Gaming, Tank versus Jake Paul. Nah, that is not going to happen. I think you're going to be disappointed, Joe's Gaming. That shit is going to happen. And you know how I know that fight is going to happen at the end of this year? I'm going to give you multiple reasons why I know it's going to happen. Number one, after Tank and Lamont fought, Jake Paul came out and said, me and Tank was going to fight next, but he's going to have to take care of this rematch. He said, even Tank said that he was going to fight somebody that was in his locker room. And Jake Paul was in the locker room right before he fought Lamont Roach. They was talking about it. That's number one. Number two, Eddie Hearn already came out and said Tank Davis is going to fight Jake Paul at the end of the year. Eddie Hearn is not just going to come out talking shit, making stuff up out of thin air. If he's saying that, you best believe he got insider info to show that Tank is going to fight Jake Paul. So I believe it. I believe it's going to happen. Tank versus Jake Paul at the end of the year. Marcus Evans, I don't care what people say. That was a weak offer Devin sent Shakur, and I'm a Devin fan. But let's keep it real. That wasn't a good offer. These fighters just see something in Shakur, fears them. My brother, sending Shakur a 25% offer, you know what that was? That was for Devin Haney fans and Shakur Stevenson haters so that they can defend him. So that they can say, look, he sent an offer. He tried to fight Shakur. But think about it, my peoples. Who wants to make a fight, sends a one-time offer, and the moment it's rejected, runs from the whole division and drop their belts? Who does that? Who does that? He didn't try to negotiate. He didn't try to say, yo, let me try to give you 27%. Or let's try to do this. No. Ran from the division right before the purse bid. There was going to be a purse bid in 3 days. I was waiting for that purse bid. I posted a video about that. Like, yeah, they going to purse bid. No more ducking Shakur. Boom. Devin Haney left the whole division right before the purse bid. What'd that tell you? Who's ducking who? Come on now. David Shotwell, what the fuck? It's wild be rigged if they do fight. Yo, I'm telling you, Jake Paul and Tank Davis are going to fight. That fight's going to happen. Another circus show. So while Shakur Stevenson is trying to fight the best, Teofimo Lopez trying to fight Jerome Boost Ennis and Devin Haney. Devin Haney trying to get in there with Teo. Tank Davis trying to fight Jake Paul. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Joe's Gaming. Eddie Hearn lies constantly. My brother, you just don't like Eddie Hearn. Give me one example. Well, since he lies constantly, give me two. Give me two examples of Eddie Hearn lies that you heard. Marcus Evans, Shakur beats Tank easy. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it'll be easy, but I see him beating Tank. Unanimous decision. Unanimous decision. Joe's Gaming. I will bet with you that it never happens. We're going to see, my brother. We're going to see. That fight's going to happen. Watch. Joe's Gaming. He said Johnny Fisher was a world-class prospect. My brother, that's an opinion. You see, that's not a lie. That's called an opinion. You said that Eddie Hearn is lying constantly. An opinion is not a lie, my brother. If I tell you right now Shakur is the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, that's not a lie. That's an opinion, my brother. Come on, if you're a promoter and you got young fighters coming up, you're promoting them. You're going to say things like that. Come on, bro. How you going to say that's a lie? I'm telling you that Eddie Hearn is saying Tank versus Jake Paul is happening this year. And you're like, nah. He be lying. I'm like, tell me a lie. And you're going to share an opinion that he gave? Bro, come on. Come on, Joe's Gaming. I'm not expecting that from you, bro. Come on. Come on, bro. One thing is expressing an opinion that you don't agree with, and it's another thing to say he's lying, my brother. That's an opinion. To say that somebody is going to be a world champion, that's an opinion, bro. That Johnny Fisher's a world-class prospect, that's an opinion, bro. That's simply an opinion. Come on, man. We got to stick to the facts, bro. Lying, you lie about facts. An opinion is simply an opinion, my brother. Come on now. JD Mess, you're legit stupid if you think it's Tank who doesn't want to fight. What the fuck is Pillow Hands gonna do to Tank? JD Mess, you're legit stupid as hell if you don't see that Tank Davis not trying to fight any of the best. You're legit stupid as hell if you don't see that Tank Davis brought Lamont Roche from the 130 division. If you don't see that he brought Andrade Garcia from the 130 division to fight him. If you don't see that Tank Davis went from 135 to 130 to fight Leo Santa Cruz. You dumb as hell if you don't see that Tank Davis not trying to fight any of the best. I don't know what to tell you. Round 0, stay blessed. Love from England. Yo, appreciate it, my brother. Yo, Round 0, I've been getting a lot of love from people from England. I really appreciate it. Yo, shout out to the boxing fans in England, man. They be showing out. Appreciate it, my peoples. Joe Gaming, okay, what about his amateur record? Whose amateur record are you talking about, bro? Round 0. Fisher is area title at best. Joe Gaming, he claiming to have gone 6-0. JD Mess, you really don't know shit about boxing. If you wanted Shakur to fight him 3 years ago, pro will get murdered. My guy, when you tell somebody, I'm going to tell you something, and I want you to keep this in mind. It's usually the people who don't know shit about boxing who tell strangers that they don't know shit about boxing over an opinion. You got to check the resume. You got to check the credentials. Check my channels, check my credentials, and see if I know boxing. And what are your credentials? I bet you your credentials are that you've seen a lot of TV, you've seen a lot of YouTube, so you think you're a boxing expert. You don't know shit about boxing, bro. Subscribe to Box Center so I could teach you, so I can school you and explain to you how it works. Joe Gaming, where's the footage? My bad, my brother. I'm not sure what footage you're talking about. Clarify that for me. Alfredo Flores, your opinion based on facts, so whatever don't go over Haney's exerting to a lie. We're just a hype missy. I mean, look, the facts surrounding Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are very simple. Devin Haney made Shakur Stevenson a 25% offer. Shakur Stevenson, who was already the mandatory, did not have to take that offer. He said, you know what? I don't like that offer. We're going to purse bid. They was going to purse bid. It was 3 days before the purse bid when Devin Haney decided that he was going to drop the title and leave the whole division. So I want you to think about this. He could have waited for the purse bid and decided what he was going to do after they told him how much money he was going to get. What was the split going to be? Now think about this. The purse bid could have been 80-20 in Devin's favor. Shakur may have actually gotten less money than what he wanted because Devin offered 25%. If the purse bid would have went 80-20, Shakur would have got less money than what he wanted to. So the smart thing would have been for Devin Haney to wait for the purse bid and see how much they're going to offer him. If he don't like the offer, fuck it, I'm not fighting him. Bro, he didn't wait for the purse bid. And I'm going to tell you why he didn't wait for the purse bid. Because he knew if the purse bid was going to be 80-20, now he's going to get more than the 20% he was offering Shakur. He was going to have to take the fight now because he wasn't going to have an excuse. Everybody's going to say, yo, why you didn't take it? You're going to get more money. So instead, before the purse bid, he dropped out of the whole division and dropped the titles. That right there shows that he never wanted to fight Shakur. It's plain and simple. He didn't want to make that fight. JD Mess, Fisher ain't even British level yet. The last 28 years old. Give him time to learn the craft. Joe Gaming, his dad had a production company his whole life, and there's no footage. Round 0, Tank versus Shakur will be a good fight, but Tank should beat him if Shakur doesn't go running. I mean, look, I respect your opinion, my brother, but I'm just going to remind you that Lamont Roach went 12 rounds with Tank Davis. Lamont Roach did not run. Lamont Roach did not fight a defensive fight. He went toe-to-toe with Tank Davis for 12 rounds, even walked him down. And a lot of people felt like Lamont Roach beat Tank Davis. But Tank Davis is going to beat Shakur? I don't see it. I see Shakur winning by unanimous decision. Good competitive fight. Tank is a special fighter too. Shakur's going to whoop that ass. Farted. Last time Tank took a knee, that was crazy. But he still defeated the most entertaining boxing right now. Nah, listen. Tank Davis, that's the difference, I think, between somebody who's really analyzing things and a fanatic. I don't have to hate on. Just because I see Shakur Stevenson beating him doesn't mean I have to hate on Tank Davis, my peoples. If you ask me about Tank Davis, skills-wise, and you see me on a bunch of videos saying this, Tank Davis is a very skilled fighter, a special fighter, the hardest puncher in the division, one of the hardest pound-for-pound punchers in the world, high ring IQ, one of the best counter punches in the world. Tank Davis can fight. He's a special fighter. I don't have to hate on him to think that Shakur's going to beat him. Now, I do see Shakur outboxing him and beating him by unanimous decision. That's my opinion. Marcus Evans, man, that Shakur and Jake fight is ridiculous, bro. I can't believe it's going to happen. Yeah, Tank Davis and Shakur and Jake Paul. I'm telling you, if Eddie Hearn came out and said that fight is happening at the end of the year, trust me, he's not making stuff up out of thin air. Trust me. He has information that allows him to say that. Joe's Gaming. Hearn claiming to have an amateur boxing record with 6 wins, 4 by KO, is bullshit. Hearn says anything for attention. I don't know what you're talking about. I never even heard him say that. Like, you don't like Eddie Hearn, you can just say that and skip everything else, my brother. JD Mess, didn't Shakur Stevenson go 8+ rounds with a technician who took it on less than a week notice? Oh, he knocked him out. Dropped him multiple times and knocked him out. Yup, definitely. Joe's Gaming, Hearns amateur boxing footage. He did. Marcus Evans, reasons why I say it will be easy because of Shakur defense. Tank not going to be able to land that shot. I mean, he wasn't able to land that shot on Lamont Roach, but he's going to land it on Shakur. So I feel you on that, my brother. Shakur, listen, all we got to look is at historical data. What happens when the great boxers fight the great punchers? Most of the time, the great boxers win. Look at Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler. What happened? The boxer won. Look at Ali versus George Foreman. The boxer won. Look at Floyd Mayweather versus everybody. The boxer won. Boxers beat punchers all the time. Period. Joe's Gaming, shout out to Josh Padley. Hell yeah, shout out to Josh Padley. For sure. Josh Padley, I became a fan of his. I follow him on social media. Why? Because he's the dream, what the dream is about. Yeah, he lost a fight, but this is a guy who stayed ready, and he got a huge opportunity. He became a way bigger star than what he got, what he was. He got the biggest payday of his career, got to buy a new home. Now he lives off of boxing. So Josh Padley is a dream, an athletic dream come true. OG told me, Dev was scary ass. Listen, I'm going to tell you like this, my brother. I feel like Devin is willing to fight everybody except Shakur Stevenson. That's why people don't really see what be going on. Everybody, like the big dogs, they want to fight everybody, but they don't want to fight Shakur. There's a reason for that, my peoples. There's a reason for that. JD Mess, the truth is Shakur trying to get to the top of a new weight class without having to go through it properly. What the fuck has he done? He's a paper champ. My brother, you see, that's the problem. You're saying, what has he done? Who do you think that Shakur Stevenson should fight? The best fighters are supposed to fight the other best fighters. That's what Shakur Stevenson is trying to do. But Tank Davis has been ducking him, doesn't want to fight him. What do we do about that? Tank Davis is 30 years old. You're talking about Shakur Stevenson is a paper champion? Tell me the champions Tank Davis beat in the 135 division. Did you not forget that Tank Davis got a secondary title by beating washed up Gamboa? That title was vacant. You calling Shakur a paper champion? What is Tank Davis to you then? He won a vacant secondary title, a Mickey Mouse belt, off of washed up Gamboa. In the 140 division, Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion. Tank Davis went up there and fought Mario Barrios for a secondary title. You out here calling Shakur a paper champion. Tank Davis is the secondary title undisputed champion at this point. A secondary title at 135 and a secondary title at 140. What are you talking about? Come on now. OG told me, because Lamont knew him since a youngin'. I mean, Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, I think people have exaggerated their relationship. There's a bunch of people on social media saying that they was best friends, that they was homies. Yo, let me make one thing clear for y'all in this live, my peoples. Lamont Roach and Tank Davis have never been friends. Lamont Roach and Tank Davis never hung out with each other. So that was a lie that was made up. They competed, I think it was twice, in the amateurs. That's it. They competed in the amateurs and sparred a couple of times. That's it. When they see each other somewhere, they like, yo, what's up? What's good? That's it. They not friends. They not hanging out together. Tank Davis is not visiting Lamont Roach's crib so they could watch fights together. Lamont Roach is not going to Tank's crib so they could have a drink. They not friends. They know each other. They both from Detroit. They fought in the same tournaments. They've been to the same gyms. They know who each other is. That's it. They're cordial. They respect each other. They not friends. They not friends. So the notion that, oh, they're friends, that's false. They not friends. Never been. J.D. Mess, Lamont Roach is a world-level fighter who's established and gave very hard fights to Tank in the amateurs. I'm not saying otherwise, my brother. I'm not discrediting Lamont Roach, but he's a 130-pounder. Lamont Roach was a cherry pick gone wrong. They brought him up from a lower division thinking that Tank Davis was going to knock him out, and it didn't play out how they thought. OG told me Shakur not know Lamont, and he not going to stand there and engage with like Lamont. Okay, my brother, again, that's your opinion, but I'm just going to remind you. Do you know who's the only fighter to beat Lamont Roach? I mean, they not from Detroit, they from Maryland, my bad. Do you know OG told me who's the only fighter to beat Lamont Roach? Do you know? Just in case, my brother, if you don't, the only fighter to beat Lamont Roach is Jamel Herring. So you don't have to Google it. There you go, Mr. Kyle, Jamel Herring. The same Jamel Herring Shakur Stevenson stopped, by the way. Shakur Stevenson stopped Jamel Herring. Stopped him. Shakur Stevenson stopped the only guy to beat Lamont Roach. Those are just the facts. John Parham, OG, I'm not saying they wasn't cool, but the media was stretching their friendship. That's what I'm saying. Like, and this is from Lamont Roach's own mouth. They are cordial. Whenever they see each other, they say, what's up? They know each other. They both from around the same area. Been in the same tournaments. So if they run into each other, yo, what's the deal, fam? What's the deal? But they stretched that friendship like these dudes was playing Super Nintendo together. Like these dudes was hanging out, partying together. Nah. Lamont Roach and Tank Davis don't hang out. Don't do shit together. Don't visit each other. Don't go to each other's fights. Don't be in each other's dressing rooms when the other guy's gonna fight. No. It ain't that. They are cordial. I'm telling you, my peoples, they not even friends. They not friends. They don't be messaging each other. Yo, what's the deal, my boy? What you doing today? Where we at? No, it's none of that. They cordial. You know where you live at? There's people that you don't really hang out with, that you don't really know like that, but you know them because y'all live in the same area. So if you run into each other at the store, you be like, yo, what's up, what's up? And that's it. Y'all not going to have no conversation like, yo, what's up with this or what's up with that? Y'all just going to say what's up to each other because y'all recognize each other from the hood. That's it. Retro Flux, do you feel boxing is dead? Definitely not, my brother. Boxing is in a great place right now. There's a few little things that could be fixed, but it's definitely not dead. You know, there's a lot of, if you think about it, there's a lot of big fights that are coming up. There's a lot of fighters, you know, a lot of young fighters coming up. If you look at Kermel Moulton, if you look at Abdullah Mason, then you move up a little bit more, go to Richardson Hitchens. Like, there's a lot of, you look at Jerome Booth Ennis, he's going to be a superstar. There's a lot in boxing to be excited about. Yes, there are little things that we're going to complain about, but there's a lot more to be excited about. We got Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford coming up. That's going to be the biggest fight in boxing. So I think there's a lot in boxing to be excited about. Marcus Evans, let's keep it real. When you look at Shakur and Tank fights, Tank struggles all his fights, but then gets the knockout. But Shakur never struggled in his fights. He wins easy. Let's keep it real. And that's real talk, Marcus Evans. The funny thing about what you're saying is that, and I've been saying this, my peoples. Look at Tank Davis's last 5 fights, and you'll see. Tank was losing rounds versus Rollies, was losing rounds versus Frank the Ghost Martin. Even go further back, Leo Santa Cruz. Tank Davis was losing rounds before knocking him out. He was losing rounds to Barrios. I think it was Floyd that told him that he was losing that fight. So Tank loses rounds, especially the early rounds. In the first half of the fight, he loses a lot of rounds, early rounds. That's why it played out the way. And with Pitbull too, Raw Dog. You got it, my brother. With Pitbull, he lost. So that's why the fight with Lamont Roach played out the way that it did. Because he lost early rounds and then he had to play catch up. What happens with Shakur Stevenson when he gets behind on the cards and he got to play catch up? You think he's going to be able to catch up on points? Hell no. Hell no. John Parham, if Shakur's pillow fisted, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. I mean, look, Shakur Stevenson is always gonna get that hate, but at the end of the day, that's the same hate that Floyd Mayweather got. That's how I know what his trajectory actually is. Retro Flux, you think the Saudi guy can bring back something like the golden age of boxing? Speaking of the gold age, what fights do you recommend from that time? From that time, for the golden era, I will recommend, and this is a great fight, go watch David Tua versus the president, Ike Ibebuchi. That was one of the best heavyweight fights I've seen in my whole life. Mr. Kayo, both fighters are different. Shakur doesn't take the risk Tank does, because him to not get hit like Tank does. And Shakur has a better jab and knows how to keep distance better and avoid danger. I agree. That's a good assessment. John Parham, Shakur is a strategic boxer and isn't exciting to boxing fans, but boxing experts love him. Yo, I love watching Shakur, my brother. Because the thing is, I don't just enjoy watching, people get beat up. I enjoy watching the footwork. Watching him, step outside of your lead foot and catch you with a hook. Watch the little different things that he does to get himself into position to hit you and out of punching range so that you can't react. There's a lot of little things Shakur does that are just amazing to see. Big Boss, Shakur is no Floyd. Okay, you can have that opinion, my brother, but Floyd Mayweather was the best defensive fighter of his era. Shakur is the best defensive fighter of this era. Make of that what you will. Marcus Evans, Jamel a good fighter, but Shakur dominated him. It reminded me of Floyd versus Gotti, R.I.P. Gotti. So you see what I'm saying? Jamel Herring is the only guy to beat Lamont Roach. Shakur made easy work of Jamel Herring. Make of that what you will. J Mags, you're right. But you're awesome fight. Appreciate it, my brother. Marcus Evans. Yeah, Tank and Lamont is not friends like that, bro. I'm telling you, B. They not friends like that. The media try to portray it like these two guys was best friends. They grew up together, hanging out, blah, blah, blah. That shit never happened. I watched Lamont Roach himself say, nah, we not close like that, but we're cordial. When we see each other, we say what's up. We respect each other. The way him and Tank communicate is the same way you communicate with that neighbor who lives up the street, who y'all don't really know each other, y'all never really talk. But when y'all say each other, if you see him at the store, you like, yo, what's up? Because y'all know y'all from the same block. But y'all not friends. John Parham, hell of a fight. I don't know if you're responding to Ike Ibebuchi. and David Tua, which I say is one of the most explosive heavyweight showdowns I've seen in my life, my peoples. Real talk. Big Boss, Floyd uses head movement and stayed in pocket. Shakur runs around the ring. I mean, if that's how you want to phrase it, some of us actually call it footwork. You want to call it run around? Do you, my guy. But what you're doing is you're taking some of Shakur fights to judge him based on that fight. Because look at Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring. You didn't see him running around the ring. You saw him putting the beast on Jamel Herring, standing in the pocket with him. Look at Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez. So, at the end of the day, that's why Shakur reminds me of Floyd. Because everything people saying about Shakur is what they used to say about Floyd. Rich Porter, Big Boss, learn boxing. Big Boss, Rich Porter, you never threw a punch, stop it. Boys be crying, John Parham, you not real, man. How you everywhere I go? And at 12:43, here in Switzerland, what the fuck? Ven acá, mi little. Ven acá. Listen, my brother, John Parham is a real boxing fan. He be on it. ¿Qué pasó, mi chiquitico? Mira, yo estoy hablando con la gente de boxeo. Yo estoy hablando con la gente. ¿Te quieres sentar aquí para que yo trabaje? Siéntate aquí. My peoples, Ryan Enzo wanted to come through, join this joint. Mr. Kyle, Shakur is good at setting traps and setting up the check left hook. And he has the best hit not get hit ratio. I do think Lamont Roach improved, so it's taken away from what's going off on his loss to Herring. Mr. Kyle, that was at 130. Where Lamont Roach was at right before he fought Tank Davis. He moved up from 130. Big Boss, Tank is from Baltimore, Roach is from PG County, two different areas. Yeah, my brother, now you're getting too specific, because even though you're saying one is from Baltimore, one is from PG County, they're fighting when they was amateurs, they're fighting in the same tournaments. They're going to the same gyms to spar. They know some of the same amateur fighters. They face some of the same amateur fighters. So they're in the same circles, my brother. Mr. Kyle, they were small to Shakur. Rich Porter, exactly. He don't know boxing. He going off of one fight. A lot of people, you see, that's the thing, my peoples. I recognize when somebody's hating on a boxer when they go off of one fight. They take one fight. Look at that fight. Look what happened in that fight. God damn. What about all the other fights? What about what happened in all them other fights? Boys be crying. You Cuban OG? Nah, my brother, I'm Dominican. Got a lot of Cuban peoples, though. John Parham, salute, little man. Ryan, somebody say hi. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? You want to say good morning to the people? They didn't hear you. You didn't say anything. You got to say good morning. They listening to you. So, look, my peoples, I got to say it. Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is the fight that we want to see happen. I'm tired of people, trying to discredit one fighter as if the fight should not happen. I mean, come on, my people. If we boxing fans, right, shouldn't we want the best to fight the best? Instead of having excuses like, nah, he don't have to fight him, or what has he done to earn that fight? Instead of having all these excuses, why we can't just say, yo, the best need to fight the best? That's it. That's what we want. Mr. Cayo, after Shakur fights Zepeda and Tank finished business with Roach, we need a unification. Lightweight division is a high-end division in boxing. I'm trying to tell you, my brother, we should have been had those type of fights. We should have been had Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson, but now is the perfect time to make it happen. Rich Porter, Tank fans protecting him Oh my God, yo, Tank fans been protecting Tank Davis. We got to keep it real with that. Because Tank fans, they don't mind him fighting anybody. They want Shakur to fight the best. They want Canelo to fight the best. They want Crawford to fight the best. But Tank can fight anybody, which to me is crazy. Boys be crying, Mr. Kayo. No, Tank will fight Jake Paul after Roach. That's what I was talking about earlier. Listen, Eddie Hearn was very specific when he said that Tank Davis is planning on fighting Jake Paul at the end of the year. Ya casi estamos terminando. ¿Tú le quieres decir algo a ellos? ¿Le quieres decir algo? Marcus Evans. It's called footwork, not running. Defense in boxing starts with footwork. The great Roy Jones even said that. Yo, I'm telling you. Shakur Stevenson is the best defensive fighter in boxing today. There's no getting around that. And arguably the best footwork in the game. He's going to get all the hate. But that's why I have no choice but to compare Shakur Stevenson with Floyd Mayweather. My peoples, if you watching this live, if you're in your 40s like I am, I'm 46 years old, and you got to watch Floyd Mayweather's entire career from when he turned pro till now, then you understand. They used to say Floyd Mayweather runs too much. They used to say that Floyd Mayweather be pity-patting. There's endless memes of Floyd Mayweather in a bicycle running from his opponent. Floyd Mayweather's head with a tracksuit running on a track. People saying that Floyd Mayweather was a track star. Everything that you see that they're saying about Shakur Stevenson, they used to say about Floyd Mayweather, my people. Everything. And the internet keeps receipts. I can show you. I can show you, my peoples. The internet keeps receipts. And that's always been the narrative. When people saying that Floyd, he puts people to sleep and he's too boring to watch. And now they're saying the same thing about Shakur. Look. Big boss. Floyd is one of the best all time. That's a fact. That's 100% a fact. Floyd is one of the greatest to ever lace on a pair of gloves. When people ask me about the greatest all time, I have three. Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Whichever way you want to, organize them, I'm good with it. I could put Manny Pacquiao number 1, Floyd Mayweather number 2, Muhammad Ali number 3. I could put Floyd Mayweather number 1, Muhammad Ali number 2, Manny Pacquiao number 3. I could go with Muhammad Ali number 1, Floyd Mayweather number 2, Pacquiao number 3. There's so many ways that you can flip that around and it's still legitimate. It's still a legit top 3 pound for pound list for all time. Orange Vic, keep preaching, bro. I just hopped in this live randomly. I like what you're saying. I appreciate it, my guy. I hope that I'm good enough for you to want to subscribe to the channel. I post a lot of short videos, a lot of long videos. Fire content. Fire content. Ya casi estamos terminando. We almost finished. Mr. Kayo, can't compare Shakur and Floyd on that end. Marcus Evans, yeah, Shakur versus Edwin wasn't really entertaining, but Shakur still won with a jab and made Edwin miss the whole fight. And the funny thing about that Marcus Evans is that now every time Shakur Stevenson haters want to talk about Shakur, that's the only fight they bring up. Like every one of his fights plays out like that one. Same thing they did to Floyd. They used to do that to Floyd too. If he had a fight that wasn't entertaining, they would cling on to that one fight. When the guy has a whole career. Big boss. I seen Floyd dodge punches with his back on the ropes. I mean, Floyd Mayweather, a special fighter, my brother. Floyd Mayweather, one of the best to ever do it. He done a lot of shit that we like, God damn, did he really just do that? Floyd Mayweather is that dude. Cooling out HVAC. Shakur never fought the level that Floyd fought when he was Pretty Boy. Yeah, but here's the deal, my brother. What you're saying is reasonable, right? But you tell me, who can Shakur fight if people don't want to fight him? People don't want to fight him. Marcus Evans, Shakur versus Tank needs to happen. People don't want to fight Shakur, my brother. That's the difference between Shakur and Floyd. Look. Let me explain to you something. And I want you guys to consider this. Shakur Stevenson came up in the era after Floyd Mayweather, right? So we know that Floyd Mayweather changed boxing because he retired undefeated. And after that, it made a lot of people want to go undefeated. It made a lot of people want to protect that O. So what happens when people want to protect that O? They no longer want to fight each other. So the difference between Shakur and Floyd is that Floyd came up in an era where a lot of people wanted to fight him. Because in that era, people wasn't protecting that O. So all the names wanted to fight Floyd. Everybody wanted to fight Floyd. Everybody wanted to get in the ring with him. So Floyd was able to, at the right time, fight each one of them and fought everybody or almost everybody. I'm not going to say everybody because then that's going to be an exaggeration. But he fought almost everybody. Shakur Stevenson now is coming up in the era where people protect the old. And people don't want to fight him, my peoples. We're in the era where people protect that donut. Boys be crying for this week, next week, Plant card. Can you believe it? And then after all smoke. Listen, I'm a fan of Plant. And I want to see, honestly, Plant versus Berlanga. If Plant wins his next fight, I want to see him fight Berlanga. Mr. Kyle, Floyd fought his good friend Zab Judah. I mean, to be honest, Floyd and Zab really became friends after they fought. They wasn't friends before they fought. They wasn't hanging out together. They wasn't rolling together. Yo, by the way, I used to train in Gleason's gym. In 1998, 1997, I used to train in Gleason's gym. I used to see Zab Judah every single day. I used to watch him train every day. In fact, you can check my Instagram. Zab Judah actually follows me on Instagram, and he ended up following me because he remembered me from the gym. By the way, my people, that's my Instagram right there. You can check. I don't be capping. Zab Judah follows me. There's a lot of fighters who follow me. A lot of coaches follow me. Bomac actually follows me. And Zab Judah and Floyd Mayweather, they wasn't really friends like that. They knew each other. They was cordial. But they became friends afterwards. Why? Because Zab Judah went to Floyd's training camp. I think he was in Floyd's training camp when he was going to fight Oscar. But I'm not sure if it was for that one. But Zab Judah was in the training camp with Floyd. And after that, they became friends. They got cool and all that good stuff. But before that, they wasn't friends like that. When they fought, they wasn't friends like that. Boys be crying. Floyd phrases are being used till this day. He popularized the term TBE, easy work, Philly shell. Honestly, I don't think that he popularized easy work. Honestly, I've seen that phrase. And even Philly shell. Because Floyd was doing it, right? And Floyd got that from his father. And then other people started saying that they stole the Philly shell. But Floyd didn't used to call it the Philly shell. John Parham, Zab was my dude. Yo, Zab, man, he a great guy, man. Zab, the people who actually know Zab Judah will tell you he wasn't just a great fighter, he's a great guy. Zab Judah is the type of guy that you have a conversation and you're like, yeah, he a good dude. Last warning, you just got a new subscriber, Jay Smith. Yo, salute, my brother. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the content. My peoples, I'm going to have to let y'all go. I got to give love to my little one right here. Y'all know what it is, man. We love the sport of boxing, but we take care of family. Take care of your family. Take care of your loved ones. I got to get my son ready to take him to school. I appreciate everybody who jumped in on this live. Yo, salute everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button. Damn, yo, I have over 50 people go up in this live and only 9 likes. Yo, y'all did me like I'm a C-level fighter out here getting pummeled. But, yo, I appreciate everybody coming through. Everybody, you know, chatting with me. Later today, I'm going to be live again. We're going to be talking boxing. Stay tuned. And for those who haven't seen me doing commentary on the big fights, yo, y'all got to see my commentary, my people. Jay Smith do it like nobody else. I promise you. There's some fights that are up right now. Go check them out. My peoples. One love to everybody. Peace. Salute. Y'all already know, man. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center. Your favorite boxers. Favorite boxing show. I'm out of here, my peoples. I appreciate every single one of you, man. One love.